Hey there, so in this video let's discuss about creating a to-do list using Laravel-Livewire. So I have created this demonstration which includes adding a task to the list, marking the task as complete, editing the task and deleting the task. So if you go into the code, you can see that this is my schema for the tasks table, which has two fields, title and a timestamp completed at, which is not null denotes that the time is completed and at what time. If you look into the Livewire component, you see that while rendering the component, I get all the tasks from the table, order it by the completed at status, so that the task which is completed go down to the list, and then I order it by created at, and I get all the tasks, put it in the tasks variable and pass it on to the front end. Let's see the functionality one by one. Let's look at the add task functionality. So here is my input field for adding a new task, and you see that I have binded it by the task title property on the backend, and when you click on the add button, it calls the add task function. So if you look at the add task, we first validate if the appropriate task title is present. If yes, we go ahead and create a new task in the database, and then we reset the field so that it becomes blank. And since we are sending all the tasks directly to the front end, the list gets refreshed, re-rendered, and you see the new task on the list without the page refresh. Let's test it. So let's say bring fruits. If I click add or just press the enter button, you see that it goes onto the top of the list, and we have all the available options in here. Let's look at the next feature, which is marking the task as complete. So as soon as you click on the checkbox, you see that the task goes to the bottom of the list and also is marked strike through. So how this is done is, on the front end, if you look at the checkbox, which is this, on the wire click we mark the task, we call this function mark completed, and we also send the task ID. On the back end, mark completed, we just update the completed at field and save the task. Once the task is saved, what happens is the list is re-rendered, and we check here that if the task is completed, we apply the bootstrap property text decoration line through, which basically means it puts a line through the task. Next up, we will look at deleting the task. So if I want to delete this task, I'll just simply press this button and the task is vanished from the table. If you look at the component, on the clicking the delete task icon, we call this function. So delete task is basically just get the task and delete it from the table. Once the task is deleted, the list is refreshed and you see the list no longer in the table. Next is the edit feature. Edit feature is peculiar because we want to allow in-place edits. So as soon as user clicks on the edit button, the list is converted into an input box along with the text which is already available there. So if I say grocery shopping and I want it urgent, I can mark it save and the list is now updated. I can also choose to edit and then choose to cancel it. So let's see how this is achieved. On the back end, we have a field named editing, which is basically a variable of type model dummy task. What happens is, when the user clicks the edit button, it calls this function select task for edit, and whatever task user is trying to edit is put on the editing field. And once we update the editing field, the list is re-rendered, and in here we check if the editing is set and if the editing ID is equal to the task ID. So instead of the usual list and the delete button, we show the text box and the update and the cancel button. Sweet. And also we have a validation for the editing, that is editing.title required, and while editing, when we click the save button, we call the update task. So we first validate if it has a proper title. If not, it gives out an error. So let's say if I edit this field, clear out the field and try to save it, it says the field is required. So basically the functionality of validation works on edit as well and also on the add. So here is how I have created a simple to-do list in Livewire. If you would do it in Laravel, it would take lots of lines of code with Ajax, but with Livewire it's very simple and very readable code that you can write with Livewire. I hope you like the component. The component is available at this URL and I'll paste the URL in the description. You can look at the demo and also get the code. Thank you.